The eyes of the political world are focused on an election tonight for a House seat in Tennessee. What was supposed to be an easy win for Republicans in the state's deep red 7th Congressional District is now thought to be relatively competitive. Democratic candidate Aftyn Behn may have a fighting chance of flipping the district, which includes parts of Nashville. Behn sparked some controversy recently after audio revealed past comments about the city of Nashville and her disdain for country music. But according to a new poll from Emerson College, the race between Behn and the Republican candidate, Matt Van Epps, is nearly tied. Here with more details on this bellwether race is Jeffrey Skelly, Chief Elections Analyst for Decision Desk HQ. Hey, Jeffrey, so this latest poll from Emerson College shows Republican candidate Matt Van Epps only up 2 percentage points in his lead over Democrat Aftyn Behn. What is the biggest motivation for voter turnout tonight?
Well, I think what you have to look at is there's sort of a combination here of Democratic engagement, high levels of Democratic engagement because of frustration with the Trump administration. And so if you look in that poll, the recalled vote for president in 2024 among likely voters was 54-41 in favor of Trump. Now, that sounds quite Republican and is still Republican leaning, but this is a district where he actually won by 22 points. So you're talking about not nearly as red an electorate as the one that showed up in 2024 in the presidential race in this seat. And on the other side of this, there's also some Republican deterioration in the sense that Donald Trump's approval rating among likely voters in that poll was basically 50-50. 47% approved, 49% disapproved. So very net even. And again, in a district that he won by 22 points, this is a pretty large shift in terms of the landscape politically. So I think those two factors have created a situation where there is a chance for Aftyn Behn, despite being a Democrat in a very Republican-leaning seat, to potentially pull an upset.
Now, this election has brought out some big money and big names to the state and to the district, including former Vice President and presidential candidate Kamala Harris, House Speaker Mike Johnson. Even President Trump hosted this tele-rally Monday for Van Epps. You know, it's obviously, I think, a tall order for Democrats to flip this seat, but could you just talk about all the big names that have been involved in this and also all the money being dumped into this race?
Certainly. I think particularly with the money, that's a bit of a tell that national groups on both sides of the aisle view this as a competitive race. You had Republicans come in with spending in the middle of November, started to do get out the vote efforts like national groups, national super PACs like MAGA Inc. and Club for Growth, Republican-sided super PACs spending money to try to boost Van Epps. But on the flip side, you had House Majority PAC, which is one of the big Democratic super PACs, come in and start spending on behalf of Behn, trying to prop her position up, boost her. So the fact that you have multi-million-dollar investments from both parties, national groups associated with the parties, is indicative of, hey, our numbers are showing this is close and it could be worth investing in, or if you're the Democrats, or if you're the Republicans, oh, it's close and we got to make sure we shore up the Republican nominee in this race because we know that this is a Republican-leaning district. So if we can get some more less engaged marginal Republican voters to show up, we'll be secure. So you get the president to do a tele-rally. You spend a lot of money trying to run ads to get people engaged. And the fact that both parties are so engaged in this district, I think, does say this. You know, we could expect it to be competitive.
You know, I think if Democrats actually ended up winning this race, it would send shockwaves across the political world and would reverberate back here to Washington, D.C. But I wonder how close you think the race has to be to signal to Republicans that they could be in some troubled waters come the midterm elections next year.
Right. So thinking about it as a district that President Trump carried by about 22 percentage points in the 2024 presidential election, the swing in the 5 or so special elections that we've had for the U.S. House during this particular Congress has been basically 20 points. The average swing to the left, I should say. Now, if we sort of account for the fact that one of the Texas races in there was a little strange, it's more like 15, 16 points. So I think a reasonable figure to watch is something like 5-6 point margin would be sort of within expectations and fit in with the environment that we've seen so far. And if it's closer than that, that could be a sign of sort of further deterioration for the GOP and for President Trump's position. And looking ahead to the 2026 midterms, scare Republicans a bit more about their position as the incumbent presidential party in the House.
The interesting kind of factoids and numbers you're going to be looking for as you dissect what happens tonight? What do you think is going to be the telltale sign when the results come in and when you're able to analyze how voters actually voted and who voted? What are you most interested in watching for tonight?
Well, look, a special election is in and of itself special. It's a special election. We rely on these numbers from, a high turnout presidential race to try to get a feeling for what the district's like, or even a midterm. But this is going to be a lower turnout election than that, even though it is a high profile special election. So I think what I'm particularly interested in seeing and what could really make this race very close or even potentially open the door to a Democratic upset is turnout in the Nashville portion of the district. Look, we know Democrats are really engaged. It's the one really blue part of this seat that was drawn to be Republican leaning by taking in part of Nashville, but making that part sort of irrelevant to the district's overall makeup. Turnout is sort of unusually high there compared to the rest of the district. In a lower turnout election, maybe it makes up a larger than normal share of the electorate, and that ends up giving Behn a path to potential victory. So that's something I'll be particularly watching.
All right. Well, it'll be very interesting to watch tonight. For now, we'll leave it at that. Jeffrey Skelly, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.